This is Houston. Say again, please.
Houston, we've had a problem.
Hey there folks, and welcome one and all to this week's rambling. And this week's rambling could only be, of course, about one thing, which was Sony's big PlayStation meeting on Wednesday. Well, the 7th, whatever the 7th was, pretty sure it was Wednesday. And we all thought it was going to be the announcement of the so-called Neo, and so it was, along with a Slim version. So what I'll do is I'll just run through pretty much how they did it in order. And as I talk about things, as always, I shall try and find footage to throw up behind my ugly mug so it gives you something nicer to look at as I blab away. So they kick things off with the announcement of the PlayStation 4 Slim, but it's not called the Slim, it's just called the PlayStation 4. It's just the new iteration of the PlayStation 4, and it is really nice. It's but it's slimmer. It's more rounded edges. It has proper buttons instead of... I mean, I mentioned some of this in the leaked video that I did a week or so ago. But yes, it has proper buttons, and instead of a light bar, it has a little light on the front and so on. So it's really nice, and it's going to come in at $299, which I think is about £250 or something like that. In fact, I think you'll probably get prices on Amazon now. I know the Pro price is £349, so I'm pretty sure it was £100 of a difference, so it'd be £249, and it's out on the 15th of September, which is really close. So you can pre-order it now and you can buy it almost immediately. The one change to that is that if you want the 1TB version of it, that's not out until a bit later. I think toward the end of September. I haven't got the exact date, actually. That's a bit silly, isn't it, when I'm going to do a vlog? I think it was something like the 29th. So it's something like that. It's toward the end of September for the 1TB version. But if you want the 500 gigabyte, it is out on the 15th of September. However... one other thing that comes with it, of course, is the spectacularly new controller, which, by all accounts, seems to only be the difference of the light bar. Interestingly enough, I don't recall them having mentioned the new controller whatsoever in all of the things they talked about. Now, I could have missed something, but I don't remember them focusing in on the controller at all, so it's almost like they just kind of passed it by as it's the same kind of thing, but just with an extra light on the top of the... So they didn't mention anything about extra battery life in it, which would have been nice, because the battery life isn't that great in the PS4 controllers. I love the controller, but not that great battery life-wise. I mean, the Xbox One controller can last a week on one charge, and that's me playing pretty heavily. And the PlayStation one lasts probably a night, and that's it. And it's without any doubt because of the light bar on it. I like the light bar, and it's fine. And if I can get a night out of it, that's fine. But it'd be nice not to have to charge it. As it happens, I've got a little stand that I can put two controllers in. So it's not a huge deal for me. If I stand up to do anything, I usually stick it in, and it just charges it, on and off as I'm using it. And then when I go to bed, obviously, it's just sat charging until it's finished charging. So it's not that big a deal. But it would have been nice to have extra battery life, without any shadow of a doubt. But as I say, it was a bit odd that they didn't mention the controller at all, because for me, I would have thought it was a selling point of some description that you get the new controller with the Slim version. But there you are. That's just me. Maybe they should give me a job and I'll do their marketing for them. So yeah, so just to clarify, where the touch bar is on top of the controller, the light from underneath actually glows through just the top, like a little top light of that touchpad. So it's quite nice, and I think the main idea behind it is so that if you're playing multiplayer, for example, you can see which color player you are without tilting it up, because the color changes depending on which player you are. It could be I think there's a never-ending amount of colors on that thing. I don't think it's limited to an amount. Not that you need them. I think there'll obviously be a limited amount of controllers you can actually have hooked up at one time anyway, but yeah. And I don't know how it decides the colours either. But I ramble on, as I do. So yeah, so there you are. So the Slim was the thing they launched in with, and then of course it was this big sort of straight into the Neo, which is actually now called the, drumroll, PlayStation 4 Pro is what they've decided to call it, which is much better, isn't it? Nobody wants Matrix names when it comes to consoles. Well, I don't anyway, you know. Let's have the Morpheus. Have we? No, we've already had a Project Morpheus, haven't we? We've already had that. Yeah, we'll have Trinity next, will we? So there you are. No, so there's the PlayStation 4 Pro, and there wasn't one mention of a teraflop. I mean, how disappointing is that? We all love talking about teraflops. I've got no idea what they are, but they seem to be very, very, very important. So there you are. There wasn't one mention of a teraflop, and I suspect it's because the Microsoft have already said they're going to have 6 teraflops, and the Neo's only going to have 4. But there you are. The long and the short of it is, the PlayStation 4 Pro is twice as powerful, that's actually slightly over twice as powerful, as the current PS4. And it will never have exclusives, but it will have game tweaks and patches on games that already exist in your library that will be able to display HDR, which is a larger color palette of colors that designers can use to make the colors deeper and stronger, more clear. And it also has the ability to do 4K gaming. So those are the key things to think about. It's twice as powerful, and it has those extra abilities. Now, when it comes to HDR, however, and this was impressive because this shows you the power that was already in the PlayStation 4. The HDR is coming to all existing PlayStation 4s in a firmware update. So that means that you'll be able to get the benefit of HDR without having to buy a PlayStation 4 Pro, which I think is absolutely awesome. I mean, you can't do 4K, but to have HDR on existing consoles already, that's fantastic. I mean, Microsoft had to release another console to do that. Their Slim can do it, but the existing Xboxes can't do it. So that shows you the extra little power that they've put in the Xbox One Slim. So I thought that was really impressive for the existing PlayStation 4 owners. I think that's fantastic. Now, as it happens, I'm going to get this console because, well, this is my hobby, this is my love, this is my joy. There's a song there somewhere. So I don't mind forking out for fancier versions of kit if I feel the time's right. Now, the time is right for me to get a new PlayStation 4, I think. I feel like I could go for a new iteration of it. In the past, that would have been a slim version. However, I've got the option of going for a more powerful one, and for £100 more, I'm happy to do that. And as it happens, the time is perfect for me to be able to afford it, so I'm just going to do it. And I don't have a 4K TV, and I don't have HDR TV either. But you will still benefit from the extra power that's inside the console without any shadow of a doubt. And they did say that. You will still benefit from it even if you don't have HDR and 4K. But my thinking on it is that I do want to get a 4K TV, and this gives me an excuse to then save up and get one shortly after. So I'm more than happy to get my console sorted out and get that all prepped up, and then when the time is right, I'll get my new TV. I love my TV that I've got, actually, my HD telly, and it'll be a shame to have to move, but for that sort of difference, I think it'll be fantastic. So I'm really excited for it. You have to bear in mind that something I didn't know was that not every 4K TV is capable of HDR, which is a bit weird. One of the guys from IGN was saying that he's actually got a 4K telly with no HDR on it, so he's actually stuck in this place where he can make benefit of the 4K, but he can't make benefit of the HDR, which it seems a bit odd. So if you are thinking about buying TVs in order to go with this console or the Xbox Scorpio when it comes next year, then have a really good hard think and check the specs of TVs if you're thinking about a 4K telly. Make sure it's got 4K and HDR, and you'll be covered on both fronts. So there you are. Now, the PS4 Pro is coming out on November the 10th, which is absolutely awesome as well. It's not that far away. It's only a few months away. And they're obviously looking to make the most of this holiday season because they know that Microsoft are going to have their big moment next holiday season, which will be the Scorpio, which will be the Xbox One Pro or Xbox One Elite. They've used the word Elite before. I suspect that might be the way they go with it. So they're going to make damn sure they get the most out of this holiday season and this coming year, because without any doubt, I think the Scorpio will be launched probably around the same time next year. So there you are. But the Scorpio, they've already said the Scorpio is going to be twice as powerful as this, because it was already stated as 4 times more powerful than the Xbox One. This is twice as powerful, over twice as powerful as the PlayStation 4, so it will be about 3.5 times more powerful hang on a minute. Get myself confused. It'll be... Yeah, if this is 2 times more powerful than the PlayStation 4, then the Scorpio will be two times more powerful again. Yeah, ish. 1.5 times more powerful, shall we say. So there will be a significant difference again. But then it all boils down to, will the game developers tweak all of the games in your library in order to tap into that extra power? Because if that's not the case, then what are we looking at? We're looking at, from the Scorpio's point of view, we'll be looking at a year probably before the next proper gen of consoles comes along, because I have no doubt that I don't think PlayStation are worried, because they're going to make the most of this year with the Pro. They'll suffer a year with the Scorpio, and then the 5 will be out. So we'll have PlayStation 5 by then. I mean, I think Microsoft are doing all the right things, but they're not doing it necessarily at all the right times, because I don't know how... I don't think people playing PlayStations are going to suddenly buy a Scorpio and dump all the PlayStation stuff. I mean, the heavy core gamers might buy a Scorpio. I mean, I certainly will think about it when the time comes. I'd be very keen to get one. So it'll be interesting. To see what happens at that point. The game library with... It was interesting hearing them talk about it, because quite clearly not all developers have hung on to this yet, because they were only showing off certain games. I mean, I had a few written down here. We've got Mass Effect, we've got Horizon Zero Dawn, Days Gone. Both of those aren't out yet. Mass Effect, sorry, all 3 of those isn't out yet. Mass Effect Andromeda, actually, it was really cool, and I will hopefully have thrown some of that footage up as well about Mass Effect Andromeda, because it was the first gameplay type footage we'd seen of Mass Effect Andromeda with the character and everything, and it was really cool. Although it did feel a bit kind of Destiny third person, and not an awful lot going on action wise. It was just jumping from A to B, but it looked pretty enough. Did I say it looked 3 times then? It looked pretty enough. So yeah, Uncharted 4 is taking advantage of it. You'd expect that as their own title. Final Fantasy 15, Deus Ex Mankind Divided. Those were a few of the ones I picked up on. There is a montage clip which I'll throw up somewhere in this video, so you'll see a few of them displaying. You won't, of course, see any of it in what they want you to see it in, which is HDR and 4K, because I'm not set up to show you that. I can show you it in 1080p, and I'm not sure that YouTube's able to show stuff in 4K and HDR. So you're not going to see the benefit of any of that, but you will see clips of the games, and it's all pretty to look at anyway, isn't it? So yeah, so there you are. So that was the sort of games I picked up on. It'll be interesting to see if the developers in general all go for tweaking it. I think they will. I think given enough time, they will bother with it, because it gives them an excuse to resell the titles when they start slowing down. So I don't think developers are going to want to be caught short as being the ones that didn't bother doing their game. Because every game has its months of great sales, and then suddenly tails off when the people that really wanted it have already got it, and the people that are unsure are kind of... So it's a good selling point to say, if you've just bought the Slim or the whatever, or it's now got HDR and it's now got 4K ability. So I think a lot of them will tap into it. I think it's been a short time frame for all of them to grab onto it just now. Some studios are smaller than others, remember, so they're not all got extra teams that can go off and sort this stuff out while they're working on their new titles either, so you can understand it. So yeah, I'm going to run through the specs now. I've got some notes here. So these are the things I picked up on as they were talking about the PlayStation 4 Pro. So we've got 4K, obviously, boosted CPU, upgraded GPU. Well, we all know what that is. 1 terabyte hard disk drive, high dynamic range, that's the HDR. The virtual reality was the virtual reality was it was a weird one, because I expected them to go full on with that, because the Pro, I have no doubt that the Pro was created to give off the best possible honestly. You know when you're talking and your mind just goes blank. There was no doubt that they built that system so that they could show off the VR. And for some reason, though, they didn't talk about it hardly at all. I mean, they mentioned it, But I think they were worried about saying that it would be Uber on the Pro and good on the PlayStation, because I think there's a danger you're going to put people off buying the Slim, or a danger that you're going to put people off with PS4s buying the virtual reality headset. So I think they were clever with it. I don't think they forgot to mention it properly. I think they were just clever with it. So you've obviously then got you're looking at 4K is 1920 by 1080, I think. So it's a big step up from 1280 by 720, which is what our HD is. And you've got, what else we got? Big benefits visually, forward compatibility patches on the HDR. Well, we've talked about that. That was the firmware patches coming for the existing consoles. And it's out on November 10th, which I already said. And we're looking at $399, which is it is £349, because obviously not on Amazon as such. So I'm pretty chuffed with that. I'm pretty chuffed with the game's lineup. Looks like it's going to get stronger as we go on. I'm in a mood where I want to buy one of these things anyway. And, well, I want to buy a new console for a number of reasons. My PlayStation 4 needs sorted out. It's having this issue where it's got a lot of space left, but it's telling me I haven't. And I've seen a few people with the same problem, and they said you've got to flatten it and just build it again and it'll be fine. And that's fine, but it's a good excuse for me just to get my stuff off and get a nice shiny new one. And it's twice as powerful. I'm sure it'll be just slightly sweeter to use, speed-wise, all that sort of stuff. So I'm more than happy to go with that and get that. If you're not bothered about that and you just want a nice slinky slim version, then go for that, because it'll have the HDR anyway, if you're not going to be bothered about the 4K. So I think they've done all right. They're selling the two side by side. They're never going to be, as I say, there's never going to be a title for one that's not for the other. So yeah, fair play to them. I don't mind it at all. I see a lot of people that are still angry about it, still angry about the fact they're doing mid-cycle consoles. I don't give a damn, really. You know, if you don't want it, don't buy it. Don't go moaning about it constantly. We're not interested. Stop going on about it, people. If you don't want it, don't buy it. Doing me hidden. Honest to God, like, the amount of people that get so annoyed about why people... It was the same with the bloody remasters. Like, people getting red in the face about, why are they making all these remasters? I'm getting really annoyed. It's like, well, just fuck off and don't buy it. It doesn't matter, does it? Don't buy it. Blimey, eh? It's winding me up, people. I'm getting angry again. Yes, come on now. We can have them the more that's put into the cycle of these things, the better for me. I've had this conversation with you all before. I'd rather be buying a slightly better version of what I had than just one that's slimmer. I mean, come on now, wouldn't we? What is the? I'm all right. It's £100 more, but if you don't want to pay the £100 more, fine. Just buy the Slim. It's fine. You know, you're not gonna miss out on any games or anything else. I mean, if you're getting that angry about it, quite clearly it's bugging you that someone else is getting a slightly crisper experience. If that's the case, then you're exactly the sort of person that could go and buy one. Just go and treat yourself. Go on, do it. Do it now. I'll wait for you to come back. Go on, go. Go. Anyway, there you are. Blimey, I've thrown a lot of Scottish in there tonight. So yeah, it was interesting though that... I'm not sure about these individual Sony things they're starting to do. Sony Experience is a bit different because that's kind of a massive event. But this kind of mini event that they did with this, I didn't see the point. You know, like everybody said it was a bit of a lame duck as far as it wasn't exciting. You know, and it wasn't that what they were telling us wasn't exciting. It just wasn't an exciting environment. It wasn't an exciting event to watch. It looked like it had been sort of just... You know, you had the main, I forget all the names now apart from one of them, Mark Cerny, but the main guy, the head of Sony PlayStation comes on. He goes on about this is our plan and blah, fine. And then Mark Cerny comes on, who designed the thing, and just bored everyone to tears for bloody about 20 minutes. Probably wasn't that long. It felt like 20 minutes. And, you know, God bless them. I love them for the work they're doing, but by God, guys, you know what I mean? Like, we don't want death by PowerPoint. Oh, blimey. So I think they're kind of creating events where they don't need to. I mean, if for my liking, without any shadow of a doubt, they should have just done this at E3. Where E3's already got all the hype they want and need. Like, people are already uber excited about seeing all of this content that's going to be on the PlayStation 4. Just push it there. You know, I know you want to kind of spread news out through the year, but come on. You know, it's like you can't have an event for every product you release. It's just crazy. Like, no one's interested in that. I mean, it's different if you're only doing it once a year, you know, like Apple iPhone or something. But if you're going to be doing, I mean, there's plenty of gaming events. You don't have to have your own gaming event, Sony. You just do it at one of the key ones. Do it at E3, do it at Gamescom, do it somewhere where there's already a massive hype. People are already excited. So there's no focus on the people coming on stage, because at some point the whole thing's just going to have people wrapped up on it. In my opinion, that's just my opinion. But I think most people that were there felt the same, because then it was like a short-lived experience as well. They walked out, they got to have a go on some PS4 Pros, and that was kind of it. You know, it was like, well, if you're in E3 or Gamescom, you've got days to enjoy all the stuff and be hyped about it all. So for my liking, I think at the moment it feels like Sony are trying to pull themselves away from E3 and Gamescom. They're trying to do less and less there and more in their own little tiny environment. I don't think they should. I don't think they should close themselves off like that, because they've got to remember, a lot of people look and watch these events that are already Xbox people. Maybe they won't bother to go out their way to watch a separate Sony event, you know, but if they're already at E3 or they're already at Gamescom, then maybe they'll grab their interest if they do this sort of stuff there. So anyway, just my opinion. I hope that I hope they don't do a lot more of that individual type stuff, unless they're going to make them grander and bigger and have more in them. But it wasn't overly exciting to watch. But the news from it was great, and it was what we all expected, and I'm quite happy. Thank you very much. So I am now saving my pennies to some degree, and I will pre-order my PlayStation 4 Pro in the coming days, I should think, and I shall dream forward to the day that I buy my 4K TV with HDR to enjoy it thoroughly after that. I might try and do that I might not manage it for Christmas. I might wait until January, because you get a lot of January sale stuff, obviously. So I might have a look in January for a 4K telly, see if there's some good deals going on. 4K with HDR. So there you are. There is my rambling for this week. I hope it's been informative. I hope you've all got something out of that. If you didn't manage to catch the conference at the time, or couldn't be bothered sitting through it, bored to tears like I was. But, well, that was a bit strong. I wasn't bored to tears. Well, to be honest, through the whole thing, when it got to the PlayStation Pro, it was just like, when is it coming? When is it coming? Give us a date, give us a date, give us a date. Which was, of course, the very last thing they gave us. A date and a price, I think. So there you are. So, yes. It has been an honour and a privilege serving for you all again in this vlog, and I shall see you all next time, folks. You guys take it easy. Bye.